Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mike Flora and John Monday from Stars on Stripe Real Estate. Please come on up, guys. Please, everyone give them a warm welcome. Here we go. Just remember, you have a seat, and here we go. And remember to talk, just kiss the mic. Chuck. Yeah. So you guys found it okay, huh?
Yes.
Good.
We're used to being at Mission, but...
Yeah, it's a little different, a little more intimate, but we also have a little more control over it. So, Richard and a lot of volunteers have done a lot of work here to make it so a little more homey and not getting kicked out constantly, and hauling all the equipment everywhere and having a home, a real home. That's what this place is about. And one of the things about the fire center is that it's about, financial independence through real estate. And a lot of the RIAs out there are not necessarily teaching the financial literacy part of it. Good debt, bad debt, et cetera, things like that. They're just teaching you to flip or to buy and hold or get money and do deals. But we wanted to really teach that a lot more because that's so lacking out there. And I actually was sitting with a mastermind group that I'm in talking, and I shared that. And a couple of them were like, you know what, you're right. A lot of them forget that. They're all thinking, we're here, we're making money, and everyone knows how to handle their money and have a good idea about financial literacy. And a lot of people don't understand that sometimes paying higher interest might save you money, depending upon what's going on. And I wasn't aware of that sometimes. Just depends upon how much the buy down is and what's going on, but they disguise it, the financial world does. So anyway, having said that, I'm going to get into some things here, but really with you guys, why don't you say who's who and tell us about you. Mike, you want to go first?
Yeah, so did 4 years in the Marines. Me and John are actually very similar in our background and even now. But I did 4 years in the Marines, did 18 years as a paramedic and 16 years as a paramedic firefighter on Camp Pendleton. And then while we were in there, we're like, hey, let's do something more. We started getting into wholesaling and real estate investment stuff on the side. And obviously that turned into something much bigger, and we wound up leaving the fire department a couple of years ago, a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah, about 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, to do just this full time. And I have a wife and 2 kids, 10 and 12. Daughter plays softball, typical stuff like that. We just have a lot more time to be with our family, which is what it's all about. So that's really, my story. John's is going to be almost identical. So.
Yeah, so you can just insert my name there for everything. So, 4 years in the Marines, 15 years firefighter paramedic. Just celebrated my 20th wedding anniversary in October.
Awesome.
So super stoked on that. And Mike and I met through the fire department. And basically, back in the day, I was running a different business, trying to get people hired with the fire department, doing that kind of thing. And he saw me grinding like night after night after night. And I was like, this business is not going to work. I'm too involved. And then we got together and we're like, well, let's try this real estate thing. Because Mike has a good buddy that he went to high school with that got into real estate. I didn't really know about it very much. I was like, this wholesaling thing just seems illegal. Like, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do this. Like, seems like I'm making a lot of money for doing nothing. But, and then we basically have some rentals. We do fix and flip. We do wholesale. That's kind of what we do.
Okay, so when you say, real estate was the something you were interested in because you had a friend already doing it and that opened your eyes.
Yeah.
You guys didn't say, hey, let's go invest in the stock market.
No.
And this is pre-crypto? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it was pre-crypto, but I bought, my first place with my VA loan. I was just a firefighter working out, chasing girls, and then I wound up getting married, and then I sold it, and then I'm like, well, I did nothing to make $70,000. I did absolutely nothing. Then I remember Mike Osborne is his name with Osborne Homes. He's a he's a big player throughout California. He's a really good buddy of mine. And then I just started talking to him and like, hey, what did you do with this? So then that's kind of how that started. I talked to John because he was a grinder, like I said, trying to be a business. I'm like, okay, John will work. And these other knuckleheads probably won't put in the effort.
Gotcha.
And then that's kind of how it all started. And then it just grew into something that we're like, hey, this is actually something bigger and better now. This could be something, and we just kept at it.
It kind of started as like a retirement plan. We're like, all right, we'll just buy some houses, do this, put it away. And then we're like, oh, this is like scalable, and we can do this, and we can save 72 hours a week, not at the firehouse, and spend time with our families. So it's kind of our story right there.
Okay, and so you were really thinking of it long-term, more of that, because you had good jobs with, is there,
Right.
such a thing, right?
Yeah.
And that took care of the bills, so you were like, we're gonna do this for our future later?
Yeah.
Right,
Well, I mean, we realized that we were like, okay, we got a pretty good nest egg now. We have rentals, and we're like, do we want to be our own boss? Because I mean, 72 hours a week, and then you start getting busy, and it's like wife and the two kids, and it's like something's got to give, or you're gonna blow your head off. Like it's just it's getting to be too much because we were growing in the business as well. So then your time suck. It's just not enough time. So we're like, let's do it. Let's take that leap of faith, and got rid of a really good paying, W-2 job and that. So now we're just doing this now.
well, let me ask you, how did you actually, we hear why you wanted to start, and that you started, but how did you start? And you knew you wanted to be in together? Or did you go, I'm gonna start buying, and,
Yeah,
No.
So we basically just jumped in both feet together. So we're like, first things first, we're going to read every single book possible, and we're going to figure out exactly what to do. And then we're like, let's just put together a deal, because that's the only way we're really going to learn. And I think within like 3 months, we got our first wholesale deal. Then we got our next deal, and we're like, okay, we'll wholesale this. And we're like, well, we can make so much more if we just flip it. Let's try it. And then like within 6 months, we were just kind of off and running after
All
that.
right, so
With not without its trials and tribulations.
Fair enough. Right, but sounds like you guys just jumped in both feet on the side.
Yes.
And as firefighter, were you guys, when you said 72 hours, you 72 hours on and then off? Is that what, or is it?
It would be like day on, day off for
Okay.
a few days, and then you'd get like 3, 4, 6 days off on the back end.
Yeah,
type
because
of-
I have friends that are firefighters that would be at the station for like 3 or 4 days, and then they have 3 or 4 days off, so I wasn't sure if they all knew that.
Yeah, there's
or-
different schedules,
Okay.
and we were about 12, 24-hour shifts a month. We were
Okay.
at the fire station.
For 24 hours at a time.
Yes.
You have to stay awake the whole time on that 24
If you're on calls, you are, or if you're on a fire or something,
Well,
we
th-
fought a
no,
lot of wildland fire.
I meant when
all
it's
the time.
slow. Are you allowed to go to bed for
Oh,
that
yeah.
20? Okay, I'm
Lot-
just making sure.
Lots of naps for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, a lot of that, all right.
Yeah.
I was going to age myself. A lot of my experience with firemen is watching an old show called Emergency. You guys remember that? Yeah. My dad's company where he worked was around the block from where that fire station, the exterior shots were, so literally saw a couple of those episodes being filmed as you went by. Yeah. Little side thing there, but so you guys, you guys went ahead and with Stars and Stripes Real Estate, you guys just went with a patriotic. I mean, you guys are first responders. How did that come to be that you wanted to? Not a lot of people named, come up with that. Not too many patriotic names out there. Let's put it that way.
Well, I guess we looked at that as like our very, very key, like unique selling proposition, because we're like, you have to have a lot of trust to sell your house to somebody with like a 2-page contract. So we're like, why don't we lean in to our service and show them who we are as people and how we'll treat them in the future? And I mean, that's really worked out for us, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. It's when you talk about a marketing scheme and we put it on our postcard where I have a Marine Corps, we have the Marine Corps emblem, you have a firefighter, emblem on there as well, Stars and Stripes Real Estate, and you're sending, your postcards out to, older people, and who doesn't like a veteran firefighter?
Right.
So
right.
if my card's getting there and some of you other guys have cards out there and you're not a veteran or you're not a firefighter,
Right.
who's going to get the opportunity? Doesn't mean I'm going to get the deal, but who's going to get the opportunity first? So if they
see
call
that,
me and I'm good enough, which I'm thinking pretty good.
Yeah.
anyways,
Good.
then that means I can possibly get them to not call you.
Right.
And then you don't even get that chance.
Well, it
at
is
that
also
point.
one of the firefighters is still one of the more highly respected careers out there for first responders. I mean,
It's more of like, look, if these people don't trust you, you're never going to get the deal. Like, I don't
True.
care. It starts with that, but if somebody else was in the Marine Corps
I
and
mean,
they
it's
catch
not
that
all
card,
about price.
Yeah, right.
No.
No, totally. It's already, you're already building that trust through our card and using that way. Stars and Stripes Real Estate, Marine Corps,
Okay.
veteran, it's all on there.
And how long were you guys after you started? You created the Stars and Stripes Real Estate.
It was
that
right
day
away.
one?
We started it right away.
3 months probably.
Okay. Okay. So you didn't go spend 3 years trying to figure out how to incorporate and then learn and read, and then you guys went out there and jumped in and read a lot, but then jumped in and started doing it.
We like action.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
yeah. There's I a lot of I have on my wall. I had on my wall for the first many years. I had ready, fire, aim, because it was the stop analyzing every little thing, jump out, do it. You'll make mistakes, but as long as you have an out to mitigate those mistakes, it's better to taking action than not taking action, trying to become the expert.
100% agree.
Yeah, so that was a.
We'd still be trying to figure all that stuff out right now, probably.
Me too. Me too. I'm still learning. Like, yeah. Well, you said earlier about wholesaling. So you wholesaled a deal, and then you realized, why aren't we flipping? We make more money. Why don't you talk about that? How often do you flip versus wholesale? What do you prefer, really? And then you said something about being a landlord. So is it you guys primarily flipping and wholesaling? Are you just flipping? You only wholesale the ones you don't?
Yeah, go ahead.
So on the rental side, what we did is before we left the firehouse, we went and got all of our traditional loans exhausted before we left. It was kind of our plan because we knew we were going to have to go, non-QA or whatever we have to go after that. So we went and got our loans for that. And basically now we only pick up rentals if they're like seller financed or some kind of like other kind of finance. It just doesn't work.
The ones you can't say no to?
The ones the ones you got to work for, but they're worth it in the long run.
Yeah. Okay.
With the way rates are, I'll get, as long as I'm giving sellers menu options, so I'll have them carrying paper, so we target free and clears. We'll target free and clears that are non-owner occ, and 7 years old and up. So then you're looking at people of like they're tired landlords, and they're under market rents. But I know they're $600-700 under market rents. So then I'll be like, oh, why don't I just give you $1,000 a month like you're getting now? You're not paying taxes, insurance, maintenance. And then they're just tired landlords. I just take everything over, give them a down payment, and with high principal payments, where we're paying this property off very quickly on like a 5-year note because older people don't want to wait for their money. But that's just one menu option that works, and then I give them the cash offer, which is much lower.
Okay.
So
you give
choose this or that.
You basically give multiple choice.
Yeah, multiple choice. That's for rentals now. If we're gonna, because numbers just don't make sense if we're doing some burr or something. It's just not gonna work.
Right.
And then CapEx has just gotten so high. But when it comes to wholesaling or rehabbing or whatnot, I mean, depends on how the deal presents itself and how that is. If we're way overloaded with rehabs, we're probably going to wholesale that. We don't wholesale a lot. One of the reasons is we got to work on our lead volume. If we had a ton more leads and conversions, we would wholesale more and take what we can. But we just like to do rehab. We got that. John's got that process like locked down, where it's much better now and much faster, so we can take a lot of volume. I think we got about 8 or 9 going right now.
Okay.
And then
real quick, anyone not know what a hotel is? A hotel? Yeah. Anyone not know? Okay. You want to explain?
Basically, we just buy it and like clean it out, maybe do a little things here, then just put it right back on the market. So get the open market. It's like a wholesale, except you get way more eyes on it. And if it just has to fit the criteria, but it can't be really jacked up usually, but somewhere in the middle, usually.
Your best marketing channel is the MLS, pretty much. So we just clean it out and throw it on the MLS for a price, like you kind of did with the Riverside property. It's just, so you're not. I mean, once you get a lot of volume and things slow, like time is a big issue. Like
the cash conversion cycle becomes a problem. Yeah.
So we'd love to wholesale some more, but at the same time, we need more lead volume with conversions. So that's a thing.
Yeah, for us, when we wholesale, it was because someone said, well, why are you selling if it's such a good deal? It's like, well, because we have 5 rehabs going on, we're running out of money and crews, and we've had crews retire and die on us and move away. And go work for Amazon. They've just said enough of this. We had a contractor I just called recently for one of to deal with a project we had in Apple Valley, and he just became a city inspector. He just said, Evan, hello? Okay. He just said, Evan, I just took a job at, I don't know, Fontana or something like that, and he's not was tired of the up and down of being a contractor. So is that what it is? Am I? Something's going on. I don't know. Yeah, it's fresh batteries. All right, we'll try that. But, okay. Do you guys ever do any development or add square footage or build ADUs on anything you're doing right now, or just quick in and out?
We don't build anything on. We haven't done any ADUs. Sometimes we'll use some like unpermitted or permitted lanai space to maybe extend the house a little bit, but that's really the extent of at what we do on that side, really.
Yeah, we're not trying to stay away from shiny object syndrome to just try and master very simple things until we get to our certain goal of what we have of enough money, enough passive income, and we're just good at SFR, standard stuff, move forward with that, and don't think about anything else, and just get really good at one, or the little amount of things that we can scale that.
Thank you. You just validated some of my decisions lately, so that's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, it interests me, and I want to look at it, but it's like, let's stay on track at what we need to get done here.
Well, especially right now with what the market's giving us, everything. It's better to be small and mighty and really good at what you do to get through whatever we're going to be going through here.
Plus, we always like the getting in and out. Yeah, because the projects where we linger, usually where the trouble is. And I have one now that's starting to bother me on that. But real quick, operations. I want to talk about it, your operation. You guys do two-man operation. You guys have VAs. You have other employees. Who does what? Your roles. Do you guys step on each other's toes?
We used to a lot, but we're really good now. So it's a three-man show, basically, with Mike, I, and Martine. He's like our project manager, property manager, kind of jack of all trades kind of guy right now, who just fills in all the gaps that we need. I run like mostly the business operations side, the rehab side, and marketing. That's kind of what I do.
Okay.
I'll let Mike.
Yeah, and I'm on the sales side, getting through title problems, making sure it closes, or distribution of, like, if I get a wholesale it or something like that. And then we just do a flat fee list broker, and then I sell the properties after they're rehabbed as well.
You sell them?
Yeah.
You're an agent?
No.
Oh, you just sell by
Yeah,
owner?
I just do a flat fee. It's called HomeCoin. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's $95, and they put on the MLS for you, and you act as the agent, and they provide all the,
Yeah, okay.
There's other flat fee brokers out there. But I mean, there's nothing against agents, but if you're running cookie cutter entry level homes, if you don't know what the price is and you can't figure that out and get good pictures, and it's like it's 2.5% per property, and you're doing 30 for 40 a year, you're saving six figures.
Yes.
And it's not that hard to list.
Well, and then
easy homes, so.
if you're doing dispo, then acquisitions, what world is that in? You said sales. Is that what
Well,
you
I
meant?
answer phone. I answer the phones.
You do that. Okay.
John keeps up on the website and all that, and then we both put the list together for our mail. And John does PPC. I don't know if anyone's seen our website or whatever before, with all the testimonials and stuff on there. And then I'm on all of the sales calls, doing that.
Okay,
doing
so
it ever since we
you
started.
talk to the sellers mostly.
I talk to the sellers.
Okay, all right.
John can too. Like if I'm in Hawaii, I'm like, hey man, you're on the phone.
I can close a deal.
Yeah,
here.
John's closed deals.
Do you find that you went that because you like to deal with the owner and you preferred doing the hands-on, or just?
I think it naturally kind of became that because when we first started, we both did everything and we were kind of all in each other's business the whole time. Mm-hmm. The first rehab we did was really fun because we couldn't agree on a color for this or a countertop or anything like that. So I think really early on we decided like just split up and dominate what we dominate and leave each other alone. And that's worked really, really well for us.
Phone rings, I get it closed, and right when we purchase it, I help get the money raised per property, whatever, and then I'm like, it's yours, John, and then he finishes it. We do like the same rehab for like every property, just to make that simple on all the crews, and then it's mine to list and then I'll be like, okay, pictures list, and then it's sold, and then we take the money and move on.
I think that's one of the most special things about our business is like Mike and I's relationship. We're big fans of like 5 dysfunctions of a team, where like you can't run a good team unless you guys are arguing with each other, you're standing up to each other, you're telling them exactly what you say. But Mike and I think, because partnerships can be hard, you know what I mean? Especially in this business, we have a lot of moving parts, a lot of money involved, and I think that's the part that Mike and I have mastered that I think that I'm most appreciative of, because it could be really hard to do this with somebody you don't get along with or you can't work with, you know.
That's very true, and a lot of people probably in other masterminds or people we talk to, they don't last very long with their partners. I don't know if it's Marine Corps and fire department, we're brothers, but we have the same goals and we laid those out ahead of time. Like, hey, when we get here, we can reevaluate if we want to split up at this time or whatever, but let's get here first. We have all these things laid out. We know life can happen, but we have a plan to stay together, work together until we reach our goals, and then we'll reevaluate at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah, partnerships. I've had 2 partnerships for 15 years each, but one has always been really more of just a money partner. So, and it was with their IRA, so they couldn't be that involved anyway. And And the other one, in the beginning, he was a experienced agent, and he worked for a large flipping company. And at the time, just buying at auctions, this years ago. And he had a lot of experience that I didn't have. So as we learned and we started doing more deals in Inland Empire, and he's along the coast, everything started falling more on my shoulders. And then that changed, and he became more of a silent partner. It's funny, I called him yesterday because I still use him as a sounding board, and I still highly respect him. And called, and he talked me through a problem and just kind of like got me through it. And I said, hey, this is, I think, what we're going to do now on this property that I've had too long. And sometimes that partner, that clarity is worth $1 million, you know, just having the right partner. So, and also knowing when to push, when to give, it's tough, but I'm a big supporter of them, even short-term partnerships or long-term. Okay, so you touched on it for a minute when you said direct mail, and Farah earlier said she used to drive for you and stuff envelopes, which, how many have done the stuffing envelopes? How many have gotten deals stuffing envelopes? Yeah, I'm yeah, okay. So why don't you talk about lead gen, what's working for you, or what worked for you in the beginning, what's still working for you now, your favorites, just finding deals in general, and what's working for you this year, and kind of go over those.
Yeah, so first of all, mail is probably our number one, still, our targeted, local. I mean, we're all inbound marketing, so our trifecta really is mail, PPC, and then just general SEO. We want all inbound stuff. And then we also have another part where we do some vacant house tracking, where Mike takes care of that, and more of like the pounding pavement marketing stuff. But we're getting more back to that, because I don't know if anybody else does PPC or runs like a website or anything, but the search volumes for us have been way down, and the lead quality has been way, way down lately. I think it has a lot to do with the Google core updates, and also with the way AI is kind of changing the way the search engines are running. Right. So trying to get ahead of that right now is kind of our biggest hurdle. But mail's been working the best. PPC, besides the last 3 months, we've been 10xing it, but now we're probably closer to 5xing it, because it just fell off a cliff.
Why don't you explain the 10x, 5x, and then on PPC, what is your roughly cost of sale or cost of lead? We had Nick Manfredi, in, was that last month before, last month? And he told us what his cost was just to get the phone to ring. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, our cost per deal, you could break it down even more. I think we're about 11,000 per deal.
For PPC, I think it's like 7.
Just our overall PPC mail.
Yeah, for mail and PPC together, it's about 11. For 11, PPC, it's 7. I think mail, it's a little bit more.
PPC's really got hurt through the internet stuff, and everyone's been feeling it, at least in Southern California area. But yeah, we're about 11K per deal.
That's per deal. But what about per lead, per call, or per contact?
Per call on PPC, it's probably in like the 450 to 500 range, probably.
Okay, that's less, as you heard. You know, Nick was about $1,500 right now.
But that doesn't mean it's a good lead either. You know.
Yeah.
Pay per click.
Or Google Ads. It's also Google Ads.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Sorry about the jargon flag. I should have called out on that. So, but you're finding direct mail right now has still been consistent.
It's the most consistent, I think, because that mail sits also, and then they sit on it for a while, and it's been the most consistent overall performer for sure.
We've been around 5-6x on our mail for years now. We've been sending mail. We started with mail, and we've just continued, and we follow the track numbers, and I see when they call in, I'm seeing what I'm seeing in their history of the property, you know, all sorts of stuff, deed transfers. There's just, so we've kind of dialed that in, because I mean your list is very important if you're going to send a lot of mail out. I mean, because it's expensive, but if you can stay on track and send it for long periods of time over time, and you're sending the correct list, it will almost always work. You just gotta have faith in it and be sending the right stuff out.
Are you sending right now? Are you sending like postcards? Or doing the good old yellow letters? Are you anything creative? Just
basic postcards with our USP all over it, the Marine firefighter thing, and that's.
Want to buy your house?
Yeah.
Put a picture of your family on there, and you and your family or whatever on there. Real personal. If you have a special message, if you're sending mail, any of you guys, like, what differentiates me from others, and how can I find that in sellers, possibly? And then you can create these lists and send that out to where you're going to resonate more than the next guy. I don't know how many appointments I've been to where there's a stack of postcards like this, and like, how are you going to beat that? How are you going to stand out? Because there's plenty of people that are offering more money than us, which is almost 70% of the people probably.
Yeah, we've noticed the last few years a lot less volume on our properties and on our rentals. We used to get stacks constantly, and we noticed that volume is way down, just even going to the tired landlords.
Yeah.
So staying in, your chances are better because there's less, it seems to be less pieces of mail that's even coming to us.
I think the online saturation is more, prevalent now, and the
Right.
mail, I think a lot of people haven't been doing it as much. So
Right.
how many people here send mail right now? Okay, not that many.
Yeah, only a handful. Yeah, I've, a year and a half ago, we were doing a bunch of getting leads from a lot of referral-based marketing, and we stopped our mailers at the time. It's been a little more than a year for Deal Machine, Driving for Dollars, where we put a photo of the house. So is this your house? And then sending that to someone. And I actually opened it up again today because I paused it, and we've added a lot of homes in the last 6 months. And then we were doing a lot more phone calls and targeted, like I'm in an area and I see his house, and I will call and say, hey, David, I was on your street at 123 Main Street, and please, I got to talk to you about your house, or I got to talk to you and leave a message. And very personal and targeted, and we've done that and bought houses. The calls have dropped. But then I'm doing more deals with partners that, partnering with bringing the money and doing that. That's why I'm kind of asking on that. And a lot of people, well, how are you finding your deals? So, and with that, what's the percentage coming from Deal Machine, direct mail versus your PPC right now, or buying from wholesalers or from agents, pocket listings?
It's probably like 10% agents, probably, right?
Maybe a little bit less than that.
Okay.
We only have a couple from agents. We only bought like 1 or 2 wholesales the whole year, this last year. Same with like agents, but we're trying to get out more, do more stuff like this, and we're
Okay.
getting more referrals, and agents are starting to reach out more. Some of that could be with the market as well, with just
Right.
being so slow and other things going on.
That's what I was just going to ask. Was that say different than 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Because the market has changed a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the beginning of the year, our PPC was just killing it. We were getting plenty of leads, and then it just like completely just like fell off. And John's been digging into that, trying to figure all that out. But then other people were calling us like, "What is going on? Is your PPC all this?"
Right.
But a majority now is mail. But we're looking to bring on another guy that's going to be. We just call him. I call him the noise maker more, and doing some of the stuff like that Farrah used to do. I got plenty of tricks there of. It's either one of two things. You're either spending more money in less time, or you're spending more time and less money. I mean, like, which one do you want to have?
Right.
We need one guy that's going to be spending all the time on trying to bring a lead to me. I still have time available, and I'm good at closing deals. At least I think I am. But where we can get to our goal quicker, it's still doing that. But we need that one. I can't be selling 9 houses at once. And I have like 5 on the market now. Answering phones. Working through title problems, like we had an attorney at court today. We got you can only be so efficient at so many things, and having all these other things that you have to do. And I was telling John the other day, I'm like, bro, this whole time we were in the office, we could have had that guy done 6 hours of skip tracing or skip work, posting on social media, doing all these things. Like you said, you see just my basic posts that I spend 2 minutes a day, where you over a year or two, you're like, you finally notice that. We can have that guy doing that every day, doing more and more for us. And it's cheap, and he's doing all that time that we just don't have time to do. But that is it. I mean, anyone, Osborne told me this as well. It was just a while ago before we were learning all these things. He's all, once you get this through your head, any one of you guys here in the real estate investment business, you're not in the real estate investment business, you're in the marketing business. Well, everything starts with a lead coming through. You can be the smartest real estate guy in the whole world, but you'll also be the brokest if your phone's not ringing. And that is the truth. It all starts with leads. Everything starts there.
Right.
You don't, you got a good rehab crew? If your phone doesn't ring, those guys are not going to be busy anymore in a certain amount of time.
Right.
So,
Right.
it all starts there. So your whole focus.